Shalom, shalom. Yeah, it's all good, bro. All right, shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of America, this wicked kingdom, which is Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures, which is Egypt, Sodom, according to the scriptures, which is ruled by the so-called white man, who is Esau Edom, according to the scriptures. We prophesy that the second coming of the Lord, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, who is coming to destroy this kingdom and to destroy 2/3 of the nation of Israel and to bring a salvation unto the elect 1/3 of the nation of Israel. Before we get started, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Machal Kodash. We want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. And to start off, we want to, get into the prophecy of the MOTB. As that is a very prominent prophecy when it comes to the end times, and it is very prominent in what's going on in the world today. Because as the scripture prophesies in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, it says that Esau's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. But before we get to that to that point of everybody receiving the chip, receiving that technology in their body, there is infrastructure that has to be laid. There's a system that has to be set. It's the same way with this whole Federal Reserve system that we're in right now. Before everybody just started using, greenbacks, and we started going off of this system we're under. Gold backed everything. It was gold backed everything at the beginning of the Federal Reserve. But my point is, when a system is implemented, you can't just go into it immediately. There's things that have to be set up. There's bills that have to be passed, laws that have to be passed. Everybody has to get in with the system before you can just go full steam ahead with it. And that's what we see going on with the MOTB today. So can we get? You got something?
Yeah, I wanted to get something for you real quick about the show. So just what the brother is explaining, is just gradualism. So I'm getting to gradualism and the etym online. It says a gradual method of action, which goes into gradual, which is having steps or ridges. A step climb, a step towards something, a degree of something rising by stages. So like the brother was mentioning, just how we had the cards, the phones, even back in the day we had like memory cards for game systems. Everything in technology and every aspect of life is advancing. So I just want to bring that out to land back off what the brother was going into with the MOTB.
Right, because like within that gradualism, like the brother's going into is steps that's being taken. It's not just a complete shift overnight. And so this is why we see like the MOTB, it says that no man might buy or sell unless you have it. But it's more than just buying and selling. This is going to be what all of society is hinging upon this beast system. And so that means that things have to start moving to a digital standpoint, which we're about to get into here shortly. Cash has to be phased out. The systems have to be put in place for you to pay digitally, for you to have a digital ID, for all these different things. This is why we see AI advancing. All these different things. It's all in line so that Esau can fulfill his great reset, his new world order, whatever you want to call it, of the beast system. But we can grab that Revelation 13 and 15.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Right, so it says, yeah, power to give life unto the image of the beast. Now, that image of the beast is ultimately that Greco-Roman way, that Edomite way of life, the Edomite philosophies. We see the image of the beast. The image of the beast isn't a literal image. It isn't a literal picture. It is, like I mentioned, a way of life, a philosophy. So we see the image in aspects of, the way that Esau runs his government structure, uh, which being the democracy, all the different religions that he pushes, like his way of worship, his way of governance, his way that people should, deal with each other, the LGBTQ community, women's rights, all these guys that he pushes, all these things go within the image of the beast. It's life in Esau's image, contrary to life in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's image. Ultimately, his science, all these different things. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. So Proverbs 12, verse 26 says, "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them."
Okay.
Just different ways. Like it says that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, and that righteous is ultimately talking about Israel. But like the brother's going into with Esau, his inventions, his mindsets, his philosophies, it seduces a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That could be by form of doctrine, like you went into the with the MOTB, the Jesus Christos or Jesus Christ, right? Even with different forms of philosophy that Esau Edom carries, it seduces people. MOTB is the main purpose because it's a wicked way, but a lot of people are going to conform to it.
Yeah. And if we can read on in that Revelation, unless you had something.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
Right, it should speak. And it's speaking by way of, we see it implemented. We see it being practiced worldwide. This isn't just an American thing. Well, it's America is the forefront of it, but we see it going on globally. All these different ideas and ways that Esau pushes. All these different countries worldwide. You have some countries that resist and they still carry their their way of life, their living. But for the most part, America is the spearheading, culture of the world. But
I got a precept to back you up.
Babu Shah.
God, this is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. Mm-hmm. Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand.
Right, Babylon the Great is speaking about America. We know this according to Scripture because, Isaiah chapter 13, it prophesies that Babylon would be completely destroyed by nuclear fire. And that can't be where Babylon is, literally, because Iraq is that land of Babylon. America is fulfilling that prophecy of ultimately, all the missiles being sent over here. We can read on.
That made all the earth drunken.
Right, we can start back from the top, Babu Shah.
Jeremiah 51 verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken.
Right, so Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, which means that he's made all these different nations, the whole earth, to drink of Babylon's ways. As a matter of fact, can we get the definition to our word cup? This brother got it.
If I can say a point real quick. So like it says here, a golden cup. A golden cup sounds glorious. It sounds awesome. I would love to drink out of a golden cup. So it's very seductive, and that's how America's philosophies are. They're very seductive to these other nations over there.
Yeah. That's a good point, because when America pushes these different ways and indoctrinates all these different countries with its philosophies and mindset, it says it as if it's a progressive thing, as if America is upgrading your place by putting its influence in it. But you can grab that cup.
Right, when you get the word cup in Jeremiah 51 verse 7, it goes into the Hebrew word kawas, which says cup, kind of an owl, unclean bird, from an unused root, meaning to hold together. A cup as a container. That's right. Also, some unclean bird. Just keep going into like a fowl, or not a fowl, unclean bird or an owl.
Okay, I thought it had something else in there, but it's like the brother broke down. That golden cup, it's appealing. When you see a golden cup, like the brother said, you want to drink from it. It's glorious. It has that splendor attached to it. And so when America's ways with that American mindset, the American way, it has that splendor attached to it. You're sophisticated if you're carrying yourself in that fashion. You are, with the times if you're carrying yourself with that fashion. That's why different Eastern mindsets that countries still try to keep to this day of covering the women up, or different marriage cultures that we see across seas. Different, whatever the case may be, it's shunned, it's shamed by a lot of people because people are now in this Western American mindset. That's what's deemed as normal. That's what's deemed as the way that you're supposed to follow. But is there more to that?
The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Right. So that's the point to that. Unless you had something you want to get off of.
Yeah, that word mad is just going into like crazy, like somebody that's overly drunk, they're staggering, they don't know what they're doing, they might get into a fight at a bar, get thrown in jail, and wake up the next day like, damn, I fucked up. That's how these nations, they're fucking up their countries because they're listening to the philosophies of America.
So back in that Revelation,
Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So just like we were speaking before, that American way is being pushed into all these different countries. Well, America is also spearheading this system of reset. 144 on the license place over there. America is also spearheading this reset of the system, this ushering in of a digital system, and so all these other countries are following suit. When you look up on, there's a website that's real good for looking up different news with this digital system that's being set up called biometricupdate.com. And when you look on biometric update, it all different types of countries come up with different digital systems that they're implementing and bringing in. Singapore, Myanmar, countries you wouldn't even think of, which shows that this is a thing that's going to be global. And the scriptures say, as a matter of fact, can we grab Revelation chapter 3 verse 10, I believe?
I got you, bro. It's the book of Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation.
Right, so the hour of temptation is going to be that time when the MOTB is rolled out worldwide, and it is going to be a time of tempting because we're supposed to resist that technology, but it's going to be hard to do so. Just to put it in short, that's what the hour of temptation is speaking of. Let's go on.
Which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
So this is going to be a worldwide thing. This is going to come upon all the world. I just want to guide that precept to make that point.
Yeah, you notice that when a lot of these countries, like you mentioned, been doing that at the same time. You had UK, and then before that you had Sweden. Recently you had Mexico, and they went all digital. You have China, where they, the elder brother sent the video through, where in China they have like a structure where the kids line up, and it recognizes them by facial ID, and then they pass through. So they've been doing it, So it's like this is not a just an American thing, Because guess what? The Israelites are everywhere. Prophecy's gonna follow Israel wherever they go, right? But so all Israel's gonna have that. Not just Israel, but all nations are gonna be faced with this thing, man. Right? That's why you hear a lot of news where everybody's doing the same thing. They're all in unity, man, with that same vision, man. Right?
Because the thing is, you have these different leaders of these countries, and they're the face. They're puppets at the end of the day, because the people that's truly in power are the elite banking families of Esau. The people who truly run everything and pull the strings, we don't see them on the news. We don't know what they look like. But it's these families as, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Rockefellers, these banking families, they are truly the ones who hold the power and tell all these different countries what, what's going on, and what they're going to do, and so that's why we see all these different countries, even though they may have ideological differences, even though they may get into it about certain things. When it comes to this digital system, they all in unison about it.
Just like the brothers were saying, they got these social credit score systems in China. I believe the one of the apostle elders was bringing it out that in China you already got a lot of young homeless people, not because they don't have money, but because they got shut out of the social credit score system.
Well, let's get that. Can you go to that definition for killed in Revelation 13 and 15? Because it says that those who do not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now, that word killed can literally mean that you could be put to death, because the scriptures prophesy that some of us who hold the testimony of Yahweh Shai will be beheaded for not taking that technology. But that's not, it's not literally every case that a person will be killed for not going into the system. Let's go to that.
You want to read it, then get it?
No, just grab it. He already read it.
Okay, so in Revelation 13 and 15, with the word killed,
and then you go to the root for it.
Okay. You get to the word killed, you get into the root of the word. It goes into Strong's G 575, which is apo, which means of separation, of local separation, after verbs of motion from a place, i.e. of departing or fleeing.
So that's really the point. It says that those who not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Let's replace that word with separated, because that's what it's going to be in a lot of cases. You're going to be separated from society, as the brother was just mentioning. So let's look at how that's being implemented in a couple places in the world. Let's look at China. Their social credit system, they are under a place of complete governance and surveillance, to where when you're in public and you go inside the store, all them cameras is looking at you, and it sees your face when you go up and try to buy something, or when you on the internet, everything you say is being tracked, surveilled, and you're given a score based off the different things you say, based off the different things you watch, your habits in everyday life. If you what I mean by your habits, if you're a smoker, for example, your score go down. If you like to drink, your score go down. If you like to get scratch off tickets or something like that, those are just low level examples. But at the end of the day, if you are carrying yourself in a way that is contrary to how the Chinese government wants you to, your score goes down. Once your score go down, you are barred from different things. So for example, you go into the store and you want to get a rotisserie chicken, that your score got to be at a certain level for you to get that. If your score ain't high enough, then you got to get canned chicken. That's an example of how their social credit system works. If your score ain't high enough, you can't go to certain schools. You got to go to community college. If your score not high enough, and I always bring the example of the episode of Black Mirror, Nosedive, where they was grading everybody, and based off the grade that everybody gave you, that was your score. And when people started giving you a negative score, when it started going down, she couldn't get no rental car, or she couldn't get a good rental car. She couldn't take no flight. There was a lot of stuff she couldn't do. She was basically separated. When people saw her score was a certain level, they like, man, stay away from me. Something wrong with you. And so we see that going on in China. This is a piece in the puzzle of ultimately the what kind of system we're looking toward with the MOTB. It's not just a chip where you put it in you and now you can wave your hand over stuff, you can open doors, you can buy stuff. It's not just about buying and selling, it's about control. Because over there in China, they don't got the MOTB implemented yet, but they got the people under control though. A lot of people carry themselves in a certain way and skip out on doing certain choices because they know that they're going to be penalized. They know that they're going to be penalized for it. Just like if you got a kid and that kid knows, if I do this, my parent going to punish me. That's the same way. You got that kid under control. That's how they got them people. Y'all have anything?
Just to back the brother up on, they don't have to physically kill you to kill you. I got Sirach 34 verse 22. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him.
That's more to that.
And he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a blood shedder.
It said, he that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. So what is life if you can't buy or sell? What is life if you can't do the things that you need to do to sustain life? And you gotta live off the grid and be out on the street. You're like homeless people. Like you have basically been killed because you're breathing, you're living life. You can see, you have your senses, but where you gonna go? What are you gonna do? You know, and that's basically what Esau wants to do to people who don't fit in to his system. The same thing that they're doing with China. This is going to be a worldwide thing ultimately, to where, you know, your options get closed off. And as the brother said yesterday, it's gonna herd everybody into that system of that's what Esau wants to do. He wants to herd everybody into breaking and taking that technology and falling into the system, because it's gonna be very hard to live unless you do. If we're in a system to where no matter, if basically deny it and you live contrary to it, that's what's going to happen to us. For those of us who worship Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and we keep his way, we're going to be penalized. And Esau wants us to forsake Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai by saying, you know what, I'm going to stop doing the things that the Most High want me to do so that I can be sustained in this society. Nah, we can't break on that level. That's what we going into, though. That's our temptation. It's like,
no. I mean, even laying back off of that Sirach 34, like what the point you just made was beautiful, is because that's really going to affect just the men the men and the women, the elect that don't conform.
Yeah.
Because you've already seen what was going on with the SNAP benefits. The benefits ain't even officially taken away, and people was already bugging out, man. They already learned. I'm going in the stores and I'm taking it. I'm like regular, and he ain't even officially took them yet. You know what I'm saying? So, I do believe he's going to take them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just that it was the prerequisite to show you, okay, look, let's see what they do, and we take it away. And now you see already. I seen a video the other day where you had a Edomite trying to stop a Jake woman. She was trying to talk about. She had a big ass basket of ribs and meat. Just trying to throw it in her trunk. The Edomite taking pictures in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? So this is before the stamps are taken, mind you. So when things really come down to the wire, when you gotta rely on Esau, that's because they've been on Esau's titty.
Exactly. They trust in the shadow of Egypt instead of trusting in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that's the thing. You have a lot of people who aren't in the truth, who aren't under, who don't worship Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I'll say it like that. But they know that the system that we're going into is a wicked system. They know that, you ain't supposed to take that technology, that you're supposed to, flee from, the image of the beast and not worship it. Yet, when the time comes, a lot of people are going to break because they don't have Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. And that's why we're gathering up our oil. That's why we're building up our faith. We're building up in the fear of the Lord right now, so that when that time comes, we may be sustained. We have faith in that, But a lot of people, just like what the brother was bringing out with the SNAP benefits, they take their system away of how they're being sustained, how the government is helping them out, and once that whole system crashes and they don't have that anymore, they're gonna be seeking for a new system to replace it. They'll take anything to live life how they was living it before, to be sustained how they was before, Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30. And I'm sorry, I want to jump down to 12. Okay. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. And verse 1, it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a different covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin."
Khan, you got our people would rather trust in Egypt, where you got the garlic and leeks and all these different things, rather than in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai that can make food fall from heaven. This is the mindset of the people that we're dealing with. That's why we have to flee that carnal, fleshly mindset and be spiritual in these times we're coming into.
Jump down to the point. This is verse 12. It says, "Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay their ruin, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking coming suddenly at an instant." And it's not just Israel. Now, this is talking specifically to Israel, but this is all the individuals. It applies to all the individuals that trusted in this system. Because Esau, the MAGA got a perfect example of that. when Trump said he was going to promise to do this, he's going to stop the war, he's going to make America great again, he's going to do this, that, and the third. And when his term came around and he was officially in the office, he turned his back on everything, but you trusted in it, right? So the same with the government benefits and anything that, and to an extent, we trust on Esau Edom for certain things,
Right,
but
right.
we're not
We
like
don't
this.
trust in it. We
Yeah.
go to him for the one of all things.
For the one of all things.
Because we don't got no choice.
Yeah, we're not like immersed in it. Is what I'm getting to. But, you know, I'll get it back to you though. It's just this is what's gonna make a lot of people lose their shit, because you know, when you trust in the system so much, and then behind the scenes something breaks down to where it's like, okay, we can't help you no more.
Yeah.
It's like now the people gonna lose their minds, man. Yeah, you got it, man.
And that's why I say we don't trust in it, because when you trust in the system, you're basically in the mindset that only what Esau can do to bail you out of a situation. That's the only thing that can sustain you. You know, we don't trust in the system because we know that when we have to come out of this system, when this system crashes, we understand that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai can take care of us. You know, that's why I said we don't trust in the system. We are in the system. We do what we got to do while we're in it. You know, we render the things unto Caesar, you know, all, you know, but the point's made. So like,
I got a quick precept for you. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
mm-hmm.
And the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Exactly. Once that time comes and this American, system is all that you place, the only basket you place your eggs in, and then if that floor falls from underneath you, you ain't gonna know what to do. It's gonna be a mindset of being perplexed and confused and just in need, because everything that you place your heart, your trust, your mind into is gone now. Now what? That's why you see people panicking. You see people not knowing what they're gonna do and screaming and crying. These SNAP benefits going away, this affects some of us in the truth as well. Let's not, act like these different things that's affecting these people in the world is gonna affect us as well. But when that time comes, you don't see us losing our mind, not knowing what to do, crying. Why? Because we understand that we have Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. That is, the scriptures say the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run into it and is safe. We know that there's faith that comes with that. There's security that comes with that. That's deeper than just this grid that we're under. But y'all have some?
Yeah, they pulled that with the 2020 situation, man, because in 2020 you had all these Americans scattering to buy Lysol and alcohol wipes and tissue and all this, buying the face diapers, and you know what I'm saying, and really in fear of the disease, which when you had the men of the Lord, life was as normal. I mean, of course, it with a little extra twist, but we wasn't spazzing out. We regular shopping, man. Yeah. Now, we wasn't no tissues. Like, damn, ain't no fucking tissue with these niggas. But you know what I'm saying? It's like that was the mentality. That was that the Most High put the men in. You know what I'm saying? Though the faithful in, I'll say, not just the men, but because you have faithful women too. Yeah. They put the faithful in to not panic. And guess what happened? People was like, oh, well, I had to leave my job unless I got the Yabberwocky. And then when they turned around, like right after that, and said, y'all don't even need it. So a lot of people, they went and got it, went and got it, stayed at their jobs, and probably got sick. Then you had some that left their jobs, came back to them jobs without getting it in perfect health. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the men of the Lord and the women, that was just a trial run.
Exactly. And we see that a couple years after that whole thing happened, and the people who got the jab, now they're regretting that they got it. They're regretting that they didn't, resist against that. Because now, what happened after that? You had people suddenly passing away. You had people getting sick. You had people getting blood clots and all these different things from people who got that jab.
Athletes, bro.
Athletes. Peak human condition, people just suddenly getting sick and dying. Like that. And it shows for those who was resistant at that time in 2020, people looked at them like they was crazy. They was conspiracy theorists. They was nuts. And then it all manifested. The same thing is going to happen with the MOTB, because the scriptures prophesy for those who worship the image of the beast, for those who get that mark, that there's going to be a grave destruction that they're going to suffer. But the scriptures say what? They accounted our life madness. It's going to be the same thing for us. When we deny that system, we're going to be set up as criminals, as terrorists, as the worst of the worst. You know, and we're going to be hated for all men for the name of the Lord's for the Lord's name's sake. You know, but as I was saying before, you know, with the Revelation 13 and 15, it says, if thou would not worship the image of the beast, thou should be killed. Speaking about that separation, we brought out the example of China with the social credit system. But now we see in the UK, there's an example of it taking place as well, because what's going on in the UK, they're saying that if you don't get that digital ID, you're going to need a digital ID to work. They're saying that they're bringing this system in to curb immigration. What else were they saying? To curb immigration, to curb crime, curb crime and things like that. We need this digital ID, and they're saying that unless you have it, you won't be able to work. That's another example of you being separated from society unless you get that system. Because if you can't work, how you going to make your money? How you going to pay your bills? How you going to pay rent? How you going to take care of your family? So a lot of people is like, man, I got to get this digital ID. What else I'm going to do? That's what the scripture is speaking about. And so slowly but surely, as I mentioned before, look up biometric update, and you see all these countries getting together their digital grid. Eventually, it's not just going to be these countries getting a digital grid together. It's going to be these countries implementing that digital grid and making it mandatory, to where unless you are in it, unless you get that digital ID, digital driver's license, which they're implementing here in the U.S. right as we speak in different states, you have to get a digital driver's license. You know, unless you get all these different things, then you're going to be asked out. And eventually it's going to be the MOTB, where all these different things are going to be on that one system that's going to be within you. You know, so you have some?
Yeah, something real quick. So Sirach 34 and verse 21 says, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. You know, it's just going back to what that brother brought out earlier. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the system's going to lead to. This whole system, the way Esau's plans, his agenda, is going to lead unto, it's really administering the famine, right? It's administering chaos, you know, and as you have the faithful saying, order out of chaos, which is Esau created, right? So the chaos is people losing their benefits, people not being able to, people not being able to feed their kids. You know, then what? You got other people going crazy, losing their mind. How I'm gonna feed my kids? I'm doing blah 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 blah. And then you're gonna come with a solution, right? You're gonna make people panic, right? You're gonna make people. What are you waving at us? He like fucking Jesse from Breaking Bad. But yeah, you know, Esau's going to come with a solution, as he always does, man. Right? And we see him in the midst of all this going on. Look at all the technology, man. Right? Look at, like the brother mentioned, the digital IDs. Look at that. Look at the way that they're. I seen something the other day with even with AI, how they had was it Amazon? I forget what company it was. That was going to pay people up to $150 to watch them cook and clean, pretty much to train their robots, man. You know, so in the midst of them taking away rights, taking away benefits, taking away your freedom of speech, they're upping their game with this technology. So it's going to be a perfect storm. You know, like the elder brother mentioned before, like with cooking. You know what I'm saying? You might have your. I'm just gonna throw some random shit out there. You might got your pancakes. You got your pancakes over there. But you ain't gonna cook them first. It's gonna take long with your eggs, sandwich your eggs. You wanna cook your meat first. You wanna cook this first. And then by the time you start cooking the little shit around, everything get done at once. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same with how Esau is administering this and this AI technology, this digital digital type of wave that he's pushing, he's having a bunch of other shit go on first because it ain't gonna take long.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is flip this over on the skillet and it's done here.
That's why, like, even with like this disorder that we see going on in the U.S., where Trump is basically causing civil unrest. You know, sending the National Guard, sending ICE, you know, doing all these things he's doing. Trump is an actor at the end of the day. They want all type of civil unrest going on in the country. They want people confused, people at each other necks. They want, you know, shit to break down because, as the brother mentioned, order out of chaos. Esau would like it so if there's a bunch of chaos going on because, like we keep saying, when shit gets to a head, people are gonna look for an out. People are gonna look for something to make everything better. And conveniently, the MOTB, once it comes, is gonna serve as that, as just that. It's gonna only make sense. It's gonna seem like the answer to life, you know. And the thing is, these elite banking families, you know, the wicked of Esau, they've been planning this for centuries. They've had this in the bag for a very long time. You know, even when you look at, I mentioned the Federal Reserve System earlier. This system was always destined to fail because it's based off of debt. When you have these, for example, the U.S. government that lends money from the Federal Reserve, they do it with interest, which means that, for example, if the Federal Reserve lended America their first $10, they said, okay, we'll lend you $10, but you gotta give us 15 back. They would never be able to pay that back because they only got 10 to begin with. So they had to keep on borrowing money, to keep on paying the things off that they had to pay off, to keep on keeping up with giving the Federal Reserve money back, as well as how they deal with these countries around the world. Because all these different countries, America is an import country. So all these different countries around the world have something to offer America. The Middle East gives America their oil and things of the sort. We look at China. China gives America all type of stuff. South America gives, you know, America, you know, fruit and different foods and things of the sort. So all these different countries are exporting things to America, and so the U.S. has to keep on paying them for all these different things, which means that they have to keep on lending from the Federal Reserve, and ultimately the debt is just going to keep on building up, and building up. But the heads of these countries, they have the system going to where even though the debt is building up and eventually is going to pop, the way that they do it amongst each other is that they can't fail if they continue to do it the way that they're doing it. They're going to be all right. The people that really get affected by this debt-based system is us, the regular people who ain't dealing with getting, you know, things from people from different countries, and you're not dealing with the Federal Reserve directly. When we get hit with this debt-based system, we get hit with the inflation of it to where things keep on getting expensive, but the wages don't match it. You know, and so now it's going to get to a point to where once inflation gets to a certain level, what's going to happen? That's where famine comes. And then what are people going to do? And they're going to be like, man, we need a new system. This cash thing ain't working. And eventually cash is going to fail because there's too much of it going around. There's too much of it going around. And Esau is doing the system the way he's doing it on purpose. He wants to devalue the dollar because once it gets devalued to a certain extent, that's when you get hyperinflation. And now nobody can buy nothing. And now everybody's in need. And now, boom, let's just reset it all with this digital system. That's why you got the stable coin being brought in. Another form of gradualism. You know, but you have some.
This 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 17. I'm going to read a couple verses down. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? You know, and it says that these are the beginning of sorrows and the beginning of great mournings and the beginning of famine and great death. So with everything that the brother's mentioning, it's a domino effect, right? It's going to lead to famine. It's going to lead to people, hey, look what they're doing over there in I don't know what to say. I'll say Palestine, man. Look, I don't know what we can't say, you know. But you know, look what they got going on over there. Like as they got the ceasefire, here it is. You still got Israel that's trying to hinder aid from getting there. right? I believe they said that this is like a week or two ago, maybe there was like maybe like 47. They said like 47,000 trucks got in there with aid and certain little food and stuff like that. But that's not enough to feed everybody there, because Israel is fucking them up. So like they really need 47,000 trucks ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? They gonna need some heavy artillery type aid over there. But here it is, that's being cut off. Well, guess what? It's systematically being done right here in the States. It's not being done so blatant to where it's like, man, they killing people. Oh, they can't eat over. No, it's like they're taking away benefits. They shutting you up on certain points. They're changing the system up on you from regular currency to digital, right? You can't just say anything on the internet. So everybody's put in a pocket, man. Yeah. To the point where it is kind of like that, but it's just not like that. But this is just the beginning of times getting worse and worse, and that flows into the sorrows, right? Because a lot of people are not happy with their condition here as Americans, man. They're not happy with the standard of living, the shrinkflation, right? Where you're getting less product, but you're paying more about the same. You can't feed your family of 10. The American dream was to what? Have a family, a wife, big old white picket fence, you know what I'm saying? Two dogs running around through the field, just living lovely. Can't do that no more. That's over with. Shrinkflation in the hit. Tariffs is hitting. Like the brother mentioned, that's affecting how we buy.
It's nigh impossible for somebody to try to live in a house by themselves. You need roommates at this point. You need a family, and then families are barely making it at this point.
Oh wait, what was that video? Hey, Trump is giving us the black women back. He giving us because now you can't rely on all these benefits. Right. Not saying that it's men that's not on benefits. There are, but men, we mainly the ones out there working. So you don't see us in the car, crying and shit like that. No, because we out working,
screaming and
shit. Yeah, screaming and snotting. You know what I'm saying? And pissed off. You don't see half of us like that, man. But the point is it's the beginning of sorrows. And eventually that will domino into people losing their lives too, man. It could. All right? I'm not going to say, it could, man. Well, that's just the rolling effects of it.
Well, the scriptures prophesy once society starts to fall and things get so volatile in this place. 2nd Ezra 15, it says that people going to be running in each other's houses for the lack of bread. Neighbor going to rise up against neighbor.
2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods.
Right, a man is going to have no pity upon his neighbor because he's going to believe, man, I got to take care of my family, and you got all this food up in here, so I'm about to take it from you. That's the type of mindset that people are going to be in. This place with this whole 9-to-5 job, everybody, with they suit on, everybody go to work, clock in, everybody say hi, how you doing, be nice to one another. This place is about to break down to where people are gonna go back to that survival mindset, back to that the fittest, survive, taking shit from each other. That's where things are heading to. It's gonna be chaotic because the road until Esau brings the MOTB, like I mentioned, people are gonna, once that system gets brought in, people are gonna be like, man, we needed something like this. Thank you. So what is it gonna be that people are gonna just accept it once it comes like that? It's gonna be, all hell is gonna have broke loose, and you're gonna need the protection from Yahweh Shem Shai in that time, because this is a time where ain't no police, ain't no order. The people are gonna take power into their own hands. So for these women out here, you're gonna need protection. For those who don't have in general, for people who don't have the protection from Yahweh Shem Shai, what you gonna do? Was there more to that?
Right now, but it does say that in there. You know what I'm saying? That was it like verse 17 or something like that? 2nd Ezra 15.
So yeah, there was more.
Let's see that verse 17 real fast.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Just like you were saying, like as far as not being able to do certain things, it does mention. Oh no, not certain things. Going rising up against it, like the sedition.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'm not sure if that's 17 or not, but I know it's in that area.
Or 17.
Yeah, you know, you don't have to get it. We just quote it. You know, just speaking about the sedition, man. That's already going on. You know. Yeah, you got it.
On martial law too.
Yeah.
Second Ezra 15 and 17. Revelation.
Verse 16 is what he was talking about. The second Ezra 15 and 16.
Second Ezra chapter 15 verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another.
Yeah.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes.
Right, and we see that taking place right now with these no kings protests because of how Trump is moving, circumventing the Constitution, moving as a fascist. You know, people are getting into the mindset to where right now it's kind of at a low point. People just protesting. People see all the different wickedness that the Trump administration is doing, and they're like, man, that's wrong. And they speaking out about it right now. But eventually, it's gonna come a point. All it takes is a black swan event or two. All it takes is a agent provocateur to get shit really riled up and going, and people are gonna get more. And these protests are gonna turn to riots. It's gonna turn to anarchy. You know.
And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
The course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're gonna be like, man, we ain't listening to what you guys say. We ain't worried about what laws you saying that we need to abide by. What the government is saying that we need to adhere to. Nah, this is what we gonna do. You know.
Verse 17.
You can just read it straight now, just because you said it was more than verse 19, right? So we can just read it straight through.
Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Which is going to be a result of martial law, you know, amongst other things. But ultimately, these cities is going to be closed off, you know, to where, you know, if you want to travel, you want to get on a plane, you ain't going to be able to no more. It's a national emergency. You know, if you want to get on the highway, they're going to have them blocked off. It's a national emergency. You got to stay here. You know, you're going to be locked down.
Verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Yeah, it says men shall be afraid. I can't think of the precept, but roughly paraphrasing, there's a precept that talks about how you're going to have grown men screaming like women in the times that we're coming into because all the terrors that's going to be going on.
If you hold that, I'll check and see if I'll say.
Jeremiah 30 and 6.
Say 36.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and start at verse 5. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child.
It says, ask whether a man is travailing with child. If you ever been around a woman having, going through childbirth, they scream their lungs out. You can hear them down the hallway at the hospital. It's a cry that they let out. And this precept is asking, man, is this man having a baby? How he's screaming? Damn. You know. But
wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
With his hands on his stomach, screaming, just in terror. Faces turned into paleness, looking like you seen a ghost. Because when the times that we're coming into it, like I mentioned, you ain't gonna be able to just call police. It's gonna be to where too much is going on. That's why martial law is going to be implemented. It's going to be too much going on in these streets. People are going to be doing whatever they want to, and people are going to be murdering each other, stealing from each other. Men going to be rolling down on women, doing whatever they want to do. It's going to be all type of, just like the Purge, you know, where what was going on in the Purge for 24 hours. You know, there were no laws. You could do whatever you wanted. Well, imagine that on a day-by-day basis in this country. And you have a lot of people in this country that have dark thoughts, that be thinking some stuff that they just can't do because of the laws that are in place, because of the order that's in place right now. But when this is a lawless society, then people going to be able to act out them different things that they want to do. That's why Esau be putting all this. Well, I ain't gonna go into that, but you know, people gonna be able to just carry out them different thoughts that they keep in.
I mean, when you mentioned like the purge, and the thing is, through the spirit, I was kind of holding it in, but as we keep going on, I keep getting movie thoughts in my head that's talking about what you're talking about, like with this specifically, like the purge, exactly the purge. The people that's it. The purge, the fucking purge. I don't even know how to explain it. You've seen the purge.
That's exactly what it's going to be like.
Like yeah, it's like, I mean, and that's it. That's it. The Purge, The Road, I Am Legend, all these dystopian type movies, or these movies that forward chaos. Yeah. Esau's been putting these movies out there, man. And we see these things looking more and more likely. I don't know. It kind of look like The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? You're starting to see it more and more now, man. It's not a joke. It's not a reality. It's not a conspiracy theory.
It's not to be a reality.
As the Apostle Gabar says, these are conspiracy facts.
Right.
And we seeing them come to pass, man. Right? What is it saying? Was that Habakkuk 2? Not Lord will come, but
I got you.
It's just, yeah.
It's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, that the end it shall speak and not lie."
Right. Famines. We seeing the famines come to pass. And that it's not just going to be straight off the bat. It goes with your food prices going up. Right? When you go in the store, you spend $70, you walk out with like 5 items. Right? That's hell, bro.
That's fucking trash.
You know? You got the wars and the rumors of wars going on. Russia and Ukraine been going on for 3.5 something plus years. Right? You got Israel and Palestine. That's going on. And there's riots going on throughout the world. The Gen Z shit has been taken off. Right? I forget that where originally started at in Nepal. Yeah. Where the I don't know if they call him a president or whatever, but he just resigned. He left.
He like, yeah.
You know, he got out. So this is just, the Lord said these was gonna happen, man. The technology, you cannot deny that the MOTB is exactly what the apostles and elders been saying. It's the micro sea hill. All these things are going on, bro. All these prophecies are coming to pass, and it says what back in Habakkuk?
It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time,
and appointed for a set period of time." Yep. Go ahead.
"But at the end it shall speak and not lie."
We're at the end, and they talking. Hey, they hollering right now. They got a blowhorn. The prophet, you can't dodge these prophecies, man. None of us. Go ahead.
"Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry."
That's going back into that conspiracy fact, because it's coming to pass. At this point, all we got to do is continue to just read the Bible. The Lord handling this earth right now with prophecy. We just get in when we fit in and report.
That's just the process. Yeah. Just trust the process.
That's all I'm saying.
I forgot what was. Oh, back in that second edges. Did you have something in the midst?
This is the definition of the word conspiracy. A secret plan by a group of people to do something unlawful or harmful.
And that's the thing. Okay, like I said, conspiracy is a secret plan. But the thing is, through the Holy Spirit, the truth has been opened up to us to where we see Esau's secret plans. We see the things that he has, that he wants to do behind closed doors. The things that they plan in the dark. You know, the scriptures speak about their conspiracy in the book of Psalms. You know, but we can grab it. But the Lord has opened up this unto us, and you have a lot of people in the world where they don't see it and they're not taking our word for it. So that's, and you know, the different, all type of conspiracy theories, not just what we preach, but you know, all the different things that you can find on the internet. This ain't true. You know, your 9/11s, for example, and you got people that's like, no, the government wouldn't do that. You know, like, come on, bro.
So much trust in this system.
There was a comedian that said, you think every single thing the government has ever said has been true? Everything? Like, you don't think that's like that's fishy at all? Like, they just 100% batting. Like,
So Psalms 83 verse 5, it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent; they are confederate against it."
I thought there was something else.
I think Psalm 64.
Yeah, Psalm 64, like Psalm 64 and 8 or something like that, or it's somewhere up in there.
I got it. This is Psalms chapter 64, verse 8. Select. Psalm 64 and 2.
Okay.
Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
The secret counsel of the wicked, that's a conspiracy. The scripture is saying that the wicked have conspiracies, they have secret counsels. And the thing is, they can't hide everything. You know, sometimes they'll sprinkle in some truths in different TV shows and movies and stuff like that. You know, to tease people. You know, that's how these illuminated ones move. That's how these Freemasons and them move. They'll say what they're doing, and if you catch on, you catch on. If you don't, you don't. But at the end of the day, we gonna do it, and what you gonna do about it? That's their mindset. But we see these different things, you know.
Yeah, and a good point. Back the brother up is like Brother Cole was talking about earlier. Those predictive programming, all those movies that tell you, you know, what the world is going to turn into. It's going to turn into The Purge. It's going to turn into Black Mirror, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah, all these. Yeah. Is there more to it though?
Psalm 64. Like a sword.
That's it. Just wanted to get that for just talking about that secret counsel. Like, there's things Esau do. Esau is a deceptive person. He has a snake tongue, you know. So he'll push these different things and say it's for everybody's betterment, and the whole time he has an ulterior motive. The whole time he has some type of selfish agenda, or he's looking to pull somebody down, you know. And he comes like it says even Satan is transformed into an angel of light, you know. So
Sirach 12 verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit.
Mm-hmm.
He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood.
And you have simple cases of somebody coming up and saying that they doing something and they lie. Like, for example, when you had, you know, Esau come over here and how they dealt with the natives. That's a simple example of this precept. But how Esau moves, he will come up with an entire plan. And to face value, it seems like one thing, and the whole time the end goal of it is something completely different, where it's just a more complex version of what the scripture is saying. That's a conspiracy, you know.
This is Job chapter 13 verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies.
The forgers of lies. It says that the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go about as soon as they be born speaking lies. The Esau is the wicked. Malachi 1:4. He's the border of wickedness. He can't help it. He is just a deceptive man. You know, and so it says, what did it say?
John. Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Yeah, they are physicians of no value. This whole medical industry, the whole medical industry is just placed upon lies on top of lies on top of lies. If Esau was really about healing people and making people better, he will go back to what the scriptures say. The scriptures say that the Lord has created medicines out of earth to heal people. But Esau brings these different medicines that he creates in labs. He creates prescriptions to where it'll put a band-aid on the issue, but you have to keep on going back to him, keep on giving them money, you know. That was it to that. Hey, well, I forgot we was the second.
I think it was an Esdras.
We can go back to that second Esdras.
Second Esdras 15 and verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Verse 18.
Verse 19.
Okay.
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor,
Right. Yeah.
but shall destroy their houses with the sword,
Yeah.
and shall spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
And that's what the Lord is getting ready to bring. Great tribulation upon this land to where people are going to have to do what they got to do to survive. So it's not going to be what we're looking at no more, where people is just, we're in a peaceful time. We're in a time where things is cool. So everybody's calm and collected for the most part. But the love of many is going to wax cold when they got to do what they got to do. And that's why people gonna be neighbor gonna rise against neighbor, brother against brother for a plethora of things. But survival is gonna be on the number one thing for a lot of people. Once the time of famine comes, people are gonna fight over a loaf of bread. The spirit that people are in right now, that docile, that just being cordial spirit, people ain't gonna be like that no more. So as we were saying, all these different evils, all these different things that Esau is getting ready to bring, he wants people to go through that. He wants a blackout. He wants, a societal collapse to where everybody loses their mind. Because once the MOTB comes, is the ease of people saying, man, let me get that, it's going to be like nothing. It's going to be a people's benefit once it comes. And that's why faith is going to have to be at an all-time high, because we're already going to be coming out of a climate to where it was hard to live, and then Esau is going to make it even harder to live because he's going to bar you out of what everybody's going to be doing to make it easy to live. But as the scriptures say, can you grab Jeremiah 17:5?
So Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, cursed be it the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord Yahweh.
Whose heart departed from the Lord Yahweh. Your heart is your mind. No matter what, no matter how much power Esau has, no matter what Esau can do to make life on this earth easier, we can't depart from our Lord. Because that's what Esau is trying to do at the end of the day. The scriptures say in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, that he sitteth in the seat of the Most High, saying that he is the Most High. And ultimately, Esau wants to control everybody and be God over everybody. That's what this is all about. When Esau brings this solution, he's gonna in his mind be as everybody's God. I can take you out of troubles. I can bring back stability to your life, and I can control you. It's like
No, go ahead.
and I can control your life to where no matter, you do everything that I want you to do, I know everything that you're doing at all times.
No, I was gonna say, because I was thinking about that the other day. Like, the Lord had everything set up. Matter of fact, can you grab Isaiah 46:10 just real quick? And it's like, being that he's the Ancient of Days, like, he is time. He ain't on no timeline. He created time. He made time. He make the times. Like when you read in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, and you can go ahead and grab that.
Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10. Can I start at verse 9?
Right.
It says, verse 9, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else.
Yeah, like, hey, as the scriptures say, the things that were written aforetime was written for our learning. All right, that's why things were written down. When you go into 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter. Matter of fact, can you grab that? Forget which verse it is, but might be 24 popped in my head for some reason. I don't know. Let's see what. Let me see. Oh, it's close. It was close. Dang, it's so much. We'll go. 22. No, go to 20. Go to 19.
So 2nd Ezra 14, verse 19. Then answer I before thee and said, Behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and will prove the people which are present. But they shall be torn, but they that shall be born afterward, whom shall admonish them?
Mm-hmm.
Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light.
Yeah, because even them, they was considering the former things in their time, how things used to be, and they seen the change that has happened. Just as us, like, we don't remember our past lives, but we get a glimpse of it, almost like a vision of it through the scriptures, through the things that's written, you know? Some of it a little bit more detailed. Some of it brothers have dreams about. You know, some of it is extrapolated through knowledge and wisdom and understanding, but we can kind of see what was going on, you know? Go ahead.
For thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or if the work shall begin.
Yeah, because you often hear the law, you hear the book of the prophets. Sometimes when it's saying the law, it's considering all of that. You know what I'm saying? All of the history, all the chronicles, and like all of that. You know, so he's basically saying what we was reading and what we was going to and what was giving us light and insight is burnt up. So the ones that's going to come after us, who's going to let them know what's going on? Go ahead.
But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which live in the latter days may live.
Can you read that again, Baba? Sure.
This is verse 22. But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me.
That's a key thing right there. You know, I forget which brother I was saying, but it's like we didn't just decide to do what we're doing. Like the Spirit gave us utterance. The Spirit called us, man. You know? And now we supposed to be giving diligence and doing our duties to make our calling and election sure. You know? We received the call, we picked up. We out here through the Spirit, but now we gotta do our part, our part in the business to keep it going, man. All right? To cover to keep our jobs. It's just like working for Esau. If you don't do your job, they don't need you. You'll be replaced, man. How much more the Heavenly Father?
It says, and I shall write all that which have been done in the world since the beginning.
I shall write all that has been done in the world since the beginning. Because they burnt it all up. Go ahead.
Which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which live in the latter days may live.
So we can find our path back to the Heavenly Father. Because you got to keep in mind, he was receiving these visions. All right, he was seeing the destruction of the world. He was seeing the destruction of our people. You know, the world being in darkness, not having knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Probably seeing Israelites walking around with long ass dreads and shit, looking and living like the heathen. So you can tell once you're seeing visions of that, in the near future, they ain't gonna have it all. They're gonna be in darkness. They're not gonna have none of the light, man. Go ahead.
And he answered me, saying, go thy way, gather the people together, and say unto them that they seek not for 40 days.
So he ended up gathering a couple scribes, told the people, look, I got something to do. Don't seek me for 40 days. You know, and the Lord gave him that spirit, as well as the scribes that was with him to write all of the things from the beginning that was written in the law. All right, that's good. You can go back to that,
It's back in Isaiah 46 and 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else.
So you got to consider when things are happening, right? That's why it says what? Measure the time diligent. What are we measuring it with? The word. Right. You're measuring it with the word and seeing what's going on throughout the world. You know? So when you in order to do that, you got to consider the former things. You got to see how the Lord operated. If we're supposed to be walking in his footsteps, if he was left as an example, we're supposed to be seeing how he operated, man. Now, don't get me wrong. It's very hard to keep up with it, but you do it to your best ability because he was saying all the right things in the right moment. Not saying that we can't be as that way, but he was just perfect, literally, in all aspects, man. Go ahead.
It says, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me.
There is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. So what Esau is doing, like I'm telling you, if you read throughout the scriptures, oftentimes when the Lord, I like, me speaking as a man, I call it like a challenge, right? When they say, well, we can get it real quick. Grab Jeremiah. I think it's 31, where it speaks about if you stay there, somebody else grab. Speak about if the heavens can be searched out in the depths of the sea, that he'll do away with Israel. Might be 38 and 31. No, 31 and 38. It's in there. I always forget it and get it mixed up, man.
31 and 37.
All right, I'll take that. I was first off.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 37. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath.
So what's the heavens, right? Outer space, This is the heaven. You got the firmament. Then on top of there, you got then he said, I'll separate the waters by the firmament. So outside of there, that's why they go out there sending satellites, having space stations, setting their nests among the stars. All right, that was the start of their downfall. They got this. I forget how much that telescope cost, but they spent billions of dollars on this telescope, billions of dollars on this telescope. Well, what you need to see? But you trying to search out the heavens, man, because like I said, well, I'm gonna let it finish. Go ahead, bro.
I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh.
Yeah. So it might be a little, I think 38 might go with it. Because it's talking about the lights, getting rid of the lights as well.
It says, behold, the days come, says the Lord, and the city shall be built.
Okay, it's probably a different one then. I mean, that's cool though, but that's what happens. They built their rockets and their spacecraft, try to search out the heavens. They got their $1 billion telescope.
Oh, you were right. It was 36.
36? Okay, 36.
Jeremiah 31 and 36. And actually, we'll start 35 is better. Jeremiah 31 verse 35. Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night.
Yeah, the Lord created the stars. He created the sun. He created the moon through the angels, man. All right? He like, boom, do this. Man, they're like, hey, what about this? That looks good, So the Big Bang didn't happen, all right? Because that's another challenge. When the Lord is challenging the Heavenly Father, he's, like the brother was speaking on, he's trying to have control. He wants you to look at him as God. So anything, he's a copycat. Anything the Most High created, he's just recreating in his own way, in a sense. Like he has his creatures. His creatures are what? His robots, his humanoids. All right, the Lord got the Holy Spirit. He got AI technology, which is fed by the Lord's creatures at that. The Lord got chariots. He got airplanes and spacecraft. The chariots can go under the water. created submarines. It's a constant challenge. But like the Lord said in Isaiah 46, there's none like him. There's none but him. He's called the Most High for a reason. All right? His only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, is in the position he's in for a reason. But that's what the wicked would do. He's like he's Pinky in the brain. He's trying to take over the world. He wants full control. And he's going to get as many as he can. Go ahead, bro.
Which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name.
Yeah, he got moon tides. So when the moon is at a certain percentage, it makes like, but Esau bring it out like, yeah, these are the moon tides because of the moon and the frequency. And all you doing is explaining what the Lord created. You got H2O, you take hydrogen, two oxygen, you got the Lord created the elements to bind together to create water. So you're not on the most high level because you're explaining what he created. If this brother creates something, invents something, and I can explain what he created, that's not me being the creator. I'm just giving you insight. I'm giving you the details. Yeah, see, when you take this liquid will fall into there, then that allows this, and boom, boom. That don't make me the inventor of it. That don't make me the creator of it. I just sat there and watched, or was willing to take it all apart and figure it out, man. But that don't put me on the level. Like, well, shoot, I can go and create the same thing. Just put it a different color and add this to it. Go ahead, bro.
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Forever. So that's why he want to send rockets to the moon and try to shoot at the sun and all of these things. Blot out the sun. Oh, global warming, oh, electromagnetic. It's always a scientific reason. When all in all, he's just constantly challenging the Heavenly Father, man.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, we're done. Go ahead, more of that.
The next verse. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh.
Yeah, so he created his, try to go outer space, try to search out the depths of the sea and all of that. It's a constant challenge, okay? That's what the Lord has a mark. When you go into Ezekiel 9 and 4, the Lord has a mark. Can you grab that?
Lord, I get this in the middle of that. Isaiah 45 and 17, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with the everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. That's just to speak on, even though the Most High was saying that if you could bring back the days, you could, hold back the seas, count the sand, then Israel should not be a nation. You know what I'm saying? Esau, though he attempts it, that don't mean that we're going to be at an end. That's Esau's attempt to try to end us. He figured that if he can do that, then he can end us. You know? And by that means like the Lord said, bring back the day, which is past. They make video cameras, but it's not exactly like, they like the shitty ass genie,
Yeah, for a Mountain High Sunday, he gave you a little ice cream cup. Yeah. Go ahead, whoever got it.
Con. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Yeah, and that's what you have. You don't have all of Israel sighing and crying for the abominations that be done in the midst of our people. You have them being included in it. All right, you have them pushing it forward. Okay. Can you get that definition? Well, it's the when you get into the definition of that word mark is exempt from judgment. It's the Hebrew word terah. All right. So just as the Lord has a mark, Esau comes with a mark because it's at once it's branding you, it's claiming you as in possession. Because then the Lord say, "All that is within my hand, none shall fall." Okay, that it shall that they shall be even to deceive the if possible, if able, they would deceive the very elect. But you can't deceive the elect because they are exempt from that judgment. They are exempt from that first death, man. I mean, Salakia, that second death. All right, they already predestined to receive salvation. Okay, you still got that, Isaiah?
Yep. It's Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
That's prophecy. Declare what he said, declaring the, read that part again.
It says, declaring the end from the beginning.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done. That's the prophecy that that had written down. The prophecies that been speaking, that we speak, and the prophecies that's manifested in these last days, man. But, like as it say, to what if some did not believe? The Lord is still going to fulfill his mission because he's a power that does not change and he's a power that does not lie, man. All right, he said he doesn't count slackness as men do, meaning delay. So it's like, oh, it's been all this time, and that's see, people start to think the Most High thinks like them. He's literally on his own time. It says one day to the Lord is 1,000 years to us. So everything is happening and is going to happen in its proper time, man.
So Habakkuk 2 and 3, Habakkuk 2 verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry.
There you go. It's set for an appointed time. Everything's going to happen at the time that it's meant to happen. Can't nobody speed it up. Can't nobody slow it down. All right? The Lord said he was going to speed things up, and it's still going to happen on the time that it was going to happen, man.
We had kind of mentioned it earlier. At this point, we don't have to really say too much. We just bring out the scriptures and point to the news and say this is what it is. Because it says it's speaking and it's not lying. So we don't have to overly convince about the prophecies anymore. Everybody's talking about it. You know, everybody's talking about the MOTB. Everybody's talking about famines. Everybody's talking about wars. The same thing the prophets been talking about, man. Right?
Y'all done with what y'all have more of whatever y'all was going into?
Not really. I mean, we was in second Ezra 15 with the point, really. But, I got this precept real fast because you were speaking on those with the mark of exemption, that's set aside for salvation. So 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 9, it says, who had saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was given us in Yahushua Mashiach before the world began.
And that's another thing in itself, man. Like he said, according to his purpose, right? And that, like, if you've been called, you gotta find your purpose. You know, like, of course, ultimately, is teaching his word, all right, and breaking down the prophecies, giving the sense, as it says in Nehemiah, you know. But that's not only what this truth is about, man. Okay, because you're not supposed to be the same person you was coming in, except for now you just know more breakdowns. No, this is character breaking down and building, man. Okay, because oftentimes that's the churches where you only gotta put on that that front for those few hours that you in the so-called house of God, man. But as soon as you get out, you can do whatever you want. All right, and you good. You set because you already saved according to them. You know, like only the elect is already saved. All right, but nobody know exactly who the elect is. You know, there's a good idea, but that's why we, once again, give it diligence and make our calling and election sure.
So 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Yahweh Shai, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
Yeah, and it starts where? Renewing of the mind. Okay? I know earlier y'all was talking about I think y'all was talking about habits if I'm not mistaken. But that's things you kind of used to, the life you used to having, the name or the report or reputation, like all of that pretty much goes out the window. You're not like a complete question mark to everybody. But there shouldn't be people pulling up saying, hey, you still coming to do this and doing that? It's like, man, like what are you talking about? But and that's what the truth does. It pushes people away as long as you walking in it, man, honestly. All right? They'll start to pick it. Well, you got the parable of the seeds. You know, when it some fell on stony ground, some fell on good ground, some started to take root but didn't fully take root. Because you're gonna constantly be tried, man, be proven. Okay.
I got a precept. Just speaking on like you got to come out of her, as we always bring up. I just want to bring up 1 John, the 2nd chapter, verse 16. It says, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world."
Yeah, and that's your desires. And I did a lesson last night, and when you go into Luke 6 and 25, and it speaks about woe to them that laugh now, for ye shall mourn later, and that are full, for ye shall hunger. That's what that fool is. Your pleasures, man. You seeking all of that out, but that's not of the Heavenly Father. The pride of life. All right, all the things you see, the goals you have, the visions, you know, just being unsatiable in your pleasures. All right, having a big appetite. You know, that's not of the Heavenly Father, because it comes with sacrifice. It comes with being low. It comes with giving up things.
I wanted to read it in NLT as well. Same thing. 1 John chapter 2, verse 16 says, "For the world offers only a craving for physical pleasure, a craving for everything we see, and a pride in our achievements and possessions. These are not from the Father, but are from this world. And this world is fading away along with everything that people crave. But everyone who does what pleases the Most High will live forever."
And like it said, dang. Can you read that last part again, Baba Sean?
It says, "But anyone who does what pleases the Most High will live forever." Or the part before that?
It might be a little bit before that.
It says, "And this world is fading away along with everything people crave."
The water. Yeah, where it says all the elements and all the works therein. Oh, you got that? Okay, go ahead.
This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
Yeah, to the ones who are not paying attention, to the ones who are feeding into those cravings, feeding into those pleasures, man. Okay? Because if you living in pleasures, dang, that's a precept. You know that when you living in your pleasures, you're not thinking about responsibilities. You're not thinking about losing anything in the sense of in a day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction, man. All right, and vice versa. You're not about to be on vacation, sitting here thinking about your bills back at home. Like that's what part of the video. She was like, "Man, I know the rich black community ain't complaining about food stamps, sitting here taking on these trips." She talking about, I think she said Rick Owens. I had to look them up, and I'm like, oh, this is just like the Balenciaga shoes. It's just some ugly ass shoes that cost hundreds of dollars. But our people will feed into those things because that's the trend, right? But like you said, you complaining about not getting food stamps. Well, that's what it is. That pride of life, those cravings and those pleasures, you're gonna have to get rid of all of that and be responsible with your money. Meaning you ain't gonna be going on the trips you once was going on. You ain't gonna be living that same type of life, man. But if you want the food that you was having, then you have to put that cash on that food instead of putting into your pleasures, man.
It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
That's like the key part, man. You know, because as the brother said, that all of that is not of the Father, right? The ones who don't feed into it, then you're investing in the heavenly, laying your treasures up in heaven. All right. So when it's time to cash out, okay, it's time to everybody going on a bank run, you know, metaphorically. I'm not talking about literally, but they're gonna be sitting here going to Esau for help, and he ain't gonna be able to help you, man. But the ones who invested and laid their treasures in heaven, that's where their investments is gonna fall through. Nobody trusted in that stock, but it's gonna be booming, man. And it's getting to that point because the Lord is having it to where Esau he's just one domino after another, man. National Guard coming through, all right, martial law, love of many waxing cold. Everybody is kind of like on edge. Okay, racial tension is increasing. People are divided, as we was doing a lesson last night. You know, so at a point in time, it's supposed to be the United States of America, man. A house divided against itself shall not stand.
I just grabbed the definition for that word, conversation. Strong's G 391, anastrophe, which means manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment.
Exactly. How you supposed to be carrying yourself, you know, and the way is of the scriptures. All right, and that's why it's not like, oh, I keep the laws. That's you're supposed to keep the laws to your best ability, man. All right, but you also got to be humble within there. All right, you got to be feeding the sheep within there. You got to be showing charity within there. All right, hey, like I tell you in Sirach 35, you know, you give as the Lord bless you, you bless. You know, can't just take this is all mine, all my money, mine. Being a niggard, man. Being Ebenezer Scrooge. Because that's kind of how it happened. Things that happen to you where you should reflect on what's going on. And the brother just did a lesson the other day, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I said this to y'all brothers, but he had like burnt his arm, you know, and you seen like all white meat. And he's just like, he said when it happened, he's just asking the Lord, like, you know, did I miss something? You're not like he's perfect, but wherever I messed up at, can you show me? Because willing to fix it, man. All right? Because it's not like, oh, I'm just going through in this truth and You know, things happen because they say, no, it's a constant thing of fixing. You know, trying to please the Heavenly Father, man. I was thinking about that today, and I've been seeing 144 a lot, seeing 444 a couple times, you know? And I'm like, you know, I had a personal thought within my mind. Because it's not like, ooh, I'm going to need elect. And it's like, nah, man, Lord willing, I am. Lord willing, I can endure to the end, you know? But I used to get it like, man, I see the 144 and I'm like, I must be doing good. I'm like, nah, ain't no I'm doing good, man. There's none good but the Heavenly Father, as Yahweh Shai said. I got work to do. I ain't doing enough. That's the mindset.
Okay. Got precept. This is 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 10, which says, wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure.
Yeah.
For if you do these things, you shall never fall.
Yeah. Well, you might as well. Well, we ain't got to go up just a little bit.
Okay. I'll go to all day to where it's name and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to have to get into all of that, but you can go ahead and get it, read it.
Okay. I'll start at verse 5. It says, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge.
Well, this is, like I said, it's not just coming in, you got your garment and you keeping the laws, you say, like, add to, what does it say?
Giving all diligence,
Giving all diligence,
add to your faith virtue.
add to your faith virtue, right? Can you grab diligence? Or grab diligence? You know, because faith for once for one thing, it's a gift of the Most High. Grace is a gift of the Most High. So if you add virtue to that, that's the moral goodness. Okay?
So the word diligence.
Can't be like, oh, this is just how I am, and it like, no, it's character building. Because you gotta understand, okay, you're dealing with somebody else's sheep.
This word diligence goes into Strong's G4704, spudazo, which is to hasten, to make haste, to exert oneself, endeavor, to give diligence, to make effort, be prompt or earnest.
Action, man. Action. You can't say you diligent if you're not been putting forth an effort. If you're not putting anything into action. You can't say it here and say I'm on a diet and I'm eating whatever the hell I want. I'm on a paleo diet, you know, and I'm eating whatever that. No. If you dieted, you dieted.
It says to hasten, meaning you're putting some urgency to whatever you're doing. You're not like, I'm going to get to it later. You know, I get to it when I get to it. If I got all the time in the world. You're being diligent, meaning you acting like this is your last shot. You know?
It says, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance.
Yeah, knowledge of what? The scriptures, of course, this doctrine. All right? Like, you know, be not ignorant in no little thing, of course. But that's just, you know, what you constantly studying. What was that for that? Temperance?
Yeah, but to your virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance.
Yep. Controlling yourself, man. Going back into what? The lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh. Going back to those pleasures.
Because you can have things that you know to do better, but then there's a temperance to actually execute what you know to do better. Because I'm quite sure that, you know, people know to eat right. You know that some women aren't good for you. Certain opportunities aren't good for you. But you choose comfort or choose whatever you choose that's bad. You know what I'm saying? And something attracts you on the left hand side, like I said, comfort, pride, things like that, things of the flesh. You know, and you gotta have self-control, man. And you know, Esau has taught the society to be like the plebeians instead of the Stoics. you know, to where everything is based off consumption and feeling good. And unfortunately, those two things are never ending. All right, because you can get on a roller coaster 5 times in a row, and now it's not fun anymore. And so you got to go and find something else, you know. And that's how Esau created this society, and he stresses you out and give you doses of dopamine there through your television, your rest time, vacations, holidays, you know, sales, but it's all through him, and now you're in a place of consumption and waiting on your idol to provide you with whatever you have, and it causes people to lose faith because the idol tells you to lose faith, man. It tells you to believe in science over the scriptures, and they're the ones giving you all the dopamine hits, give you degrees, but the degrees come with depth. But even though you with the degree you get a certain status in the world, but that status in the world only like gives you a certain amount. When really it's just hard work and effort, and be able to think freely. But Esau has gained control of that, and the nations are getting mad. Everybody's realizing that's a crock of shit. But by the time everybody rise up and say we've had enough, they're gonna bring in an MOTB. They're gonna usher it in, because everybody say they like running water. They like grocery stores with their favorite foods. Oh, I like this. I like this bread. I like that bread. No, I like these noodles. I like that noodle. You know what I'm saying? What you say?
I said the variety gives them,
Yeah, the victuals being so good cheap means in a word when it says cheap it means accessible, made plenteous. It don't mean like low in price. Okay? Because just as everything is so plenteous, they're turning around and putting a strain on you financially. Okay? And then they're gonna hit you with a dopamine hit by providing you a way out. Everybody's so used to comfort. Hey, hell, the bulk of us on this side, man, we're born into America, man. So we're used to comfort as well, man. You know, like to sit here and grow a garden, to go look for water, You know, Jake didn't have to There's a point that Jake had to wake up. There's Jacob's well. You had to go look for water. That was a normal thing, man. Go find the water, set up a community around it. Go hunt your animals, herd your sheep. Your life was dedicated to you living life, like producing something towards life. You had to herd sheep. You had to plant. You had to educate your children. There weren't no teachers in schools. So you didn't have time to fucking bitch about vacations and having personal time. All this shit that Jake be arguing and bitching over. That's because Esau created a society that's based off of consumption, man. So where it's like, oh man, I've been working, and you're not working for yourself, so there's an unfulfillment there. And then when you working to live in his society instead of working for yourself and just managing what you have and pay 10% of what you have to the government, it don't work like that. They want to maintain and control what you make, how much you make. You could be doing the same damn job in this society and getting paid 2 different wages, right? But if I own land and another brother own land and we put in the same amount of work, we're going to produce the same amount of results and riches, and that's how it's supposed to work. But this place is full of dishonesty and corruption and consumption that you're not to be uncomfortable, and it's crazy because Jake thinks being uncomfortable is uncomfortable when really it is there's a freedom. There's a freedom that comes with living on a farm, raising all, managing your crop, managing your livestock, having your kids around you, training them up to raise up livestock. There's a certain liberty, with that. You don't gotta walk around and you say, "This is my land. I don't want you on it. Get the hell off my shit." No, we don't do this over here. We don't want that. No, we don't want no gay bar on our land and our common, man. Get that the hell out of here. We don't need it. You know what I'm saying? It gives you certain liberties. But once you take, the more deals you take from Esau, the more you're gonna have to be stricken to his policies. Just like if you purchase a gun, you gotta get a license. You gotta go here, get it registered. You gotta go do this. You gotta go get the bullets. Then they got ballistic shells and then all this shit. You get your ass on food stamp snaps. They gotta come and see how you doing. Did you fill this out? Did you go there? Did you go to this meeting? And it comes with stipulations. That's why with the Lord it's free, man. Okay? His way is free, and Esau's way seems free. You can eat what you want, but you're confined to him by death. By being sick all the time, you got to come to him. All right? That he attached his way of thinking to everything, so you got to be educated through a system just to plug and play. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
This John chapter 8, verse 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, "If you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Yeah, the truth, this gospel shall make us free, man. It's not just like I always talk about how you have your clothes, and if you got some regular old shoes that's durable and it's no name, everybody make fun of you. Your stock will go down in this society. Your women won't like you as much, based off the clothes you wear. And I get it, but this place has lost its purpose, because even when niggas wore purple, it wasn't because, oh shit, because a famous designer like leaned on some food and fell on it. He dropped some blueberries on a white. I was like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because of that. It was because purple is a very hard, accessible color. So to get purple, it was proof that motherfuckers went out their way to access the rarity of it. But Esau had kind of flipped it, where they make one purse a year, 5 purses a year, and then they hike the prices up. That's not the same as you gotta dive and dodge fucking great white sharks and shit to get the fucking purple coral. It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Where they manufactured the rarity.
Yeah.
Just like what they did with diamonds. But we talking about handcrafted objects. Somebody that made it from hand. Okay? Those things should be appreciated, but it's not in this society. Just like I said, somebody can sit here and you could be at work, and because they know somebody, they got on them with the job and it pays them, and they could be not worth shit, man. But then you got somebody working their ass off and don't got a chance at society because they don't know enough people, they don't got enough resources or things like that. That's how ass backwards the society is, man. Okay? Within the kingdom of heaven, the Israelites are gonna rule, but you are who you are. If you lacking and you being lazy, and you out there and you ain't farming your crops, you ain't gonna eat. It ain't no like nobody gonna sit here and allow laziness, but it should affect you. But yeah, that's all. There ain't so much I can say to it, but this society is the base normacy of this society is bullshit. Okay, because they'll use running water to tax you for it, and you can't even use it. All you really use is for showers. You can't drink out of it no more. You gotta buy bottled water now, and then they got plastic, so if you buy the glass, it's more expensive. You can't. You gotta. they gave you cars so it could be easier to commute back and forth. But now you're time stricken because instead of they giving you hours to get to work, now they give you 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, they don't give you the, like imagine you had to travel and take you a week to get somewhere. It take you hours to get somewhere. You can't just sit here and have you working 12-hour shifts and shit. You got to get back home before sundown, man.
Yeah.
You're supposed to work when the sun come up and then stop working when the sun go down. And normally you finish before that, man. And then when you finish, you're done.
Yeah,
You know, it's not somebody saying, "Oh, well, since we still have you, let's try to find something else for you to do."
bro.
Since we still have
I got a preset.
This is Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter."
Yeah, and that's what Esau has done, as he's turned everything, that into bitterness, man. Like fresh foods is sweet. Fresh caught animals, fresh butchered animals, freshly made vegetables. But Esau made it all accessible, but then it turned fake. You produce the amount of burger patties between all these fast food places that's being produced and the amount of animals here don't make any sense. It don't match up. And then everybody's not eating these burgers. Through your mass production, like you created a system to make people keep running up to it. You didn't give them time to make their food, so you create fast food companies. They don't got time to raise cattle, so you give them grocery stores. All right, they don't got time to raise their kids, so you give them daycares and schools.
Every problem that we run into to produce, he has a solution for it to keep you just going.
Yeah, his solution is manufactured though. It's manufactured. He never wanted you to have time with your kids because he know that's gonna get them to think independently and more structured. So he created the school system, the Prussian school system. All right. He didn't want he don't care about liberty and freedom for all. He just wanted the women to be free, so they could tax both the man and the woman in the household and raise the prices up to the point it takes two of them, and then that further breaks down the household to where you're gonna need somebody to watch your kids. Then you're gonna need somebody to watch, not only watch your kids but watch your grandparents, nursing homes.
It's a cycle.
Yeah, they destroyed the family nucleus by doing what? Attacking the man. Yep. They attacked the man through war, sent them out to war. They attack them through propaganda. They attack them through allowing women to raise them without having a male presence. They attack them through poverty. All right. They attack them through schooling. It's constant attacks on all four corners, man. But at the same time, you got Pop-Tarts, you got video games, you got football. They even added an extra week. You got basketball. You can shoot as many 3-pointers as you want.
Fuck fundamentals.
Yeah, just run up and chuck that shit. Just give everybody what they want. High fructose everything. Yeah. And it just is oversaturated and it takes out because they don't understand life, man. Esau don't understand life. He don't understand the goodness of a thing. He's like a little child that's running around fucking with shit. Ooh, what's this? Taking your glasses, just bending them out of control because they're just like, oh wow, I see you put them on your face. Let me grab it and see what I can do with it. And he even go to the point of using the glass to fucking burn ants and shit.
It's crazy.
That's the type of society that we're in, man. And it seems like it's the shit, but it's actually hell on earth, man. All right. This place is hell on earth. You know?
Got a quick precept.
Yep, I was shot.
Proverbs 28 and verse 15. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor people.
Yep. And that's how Esau is he's very diabolical and cunning. You know? Like he created a system and he uses racism, you know, which racism exists. We the Most High and we support racism. But Esau uses racism as a weapon. You know, while he's stealing from everybody, he then will sit there and talk about Jake all day. Look at him. He ain't got, look at his shoe. Look at him. You always come up here dirtying up everything. Ooh. And Esau, the main one talking about Jake all day, he's stealing from everybody. So now that I'm pissed, hurt people, I'm giving you somebody to hurt. Okay? And so they use race baiting. All right? Black people ain't this. Niggas ain't that. They ain't this. They ain't that. Then you take the worst of us and then put them up as the example and say, look how all of them act. All right? And then it turns into the norm. You know? Well, we're not like that at essence, man. Poverty makes Jake like that. Programming makes Jake like that. Red 40 makes Jake like that. White sugar, sodium, lack of sleep, stress. Okay?
Yeah, I was thinking, bro, as you saying that, all these years, because you saying things is manufactured and it's programmed, all these years, you've been able to use your EBT to get all these sugary ass snacks, you know, like you said, all them different dyes and everything. But now, you know, because they talking about make America healthy again, but it comes within their agenda talking about tracking your vitals and all of this, which we know is leading to the MOTB. You know, now it's just like, nah, y'all can't buy it anymore. You know, here, I'm going to write that y'all can't buy those things anymore. But matter of fact, I'm going to just write y'all ain't getting it at all.
Or just shut the companies down that sell this shit. You would not do that. You know? Why do the working class, because there's no like poor, lower class, middle class, then rich. You know, it's the non-working class, the working class, and then the rich non-working class. That's all it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's just people who work and the people who don't work. And the people who work is stuck in the middle, footing the bill on both sides. The rich don't want to pay the taxes, so the middle class pay it all because they ain't got no power to resist that. And then the middle class gets taxed more, or so-called the working class, because the poor class ain't working. You know, but it's all meant to be like that to keep us continual cycle, because they really don't care about money. It's all about resources. Okay. It don't matter about how, you don't know how rich the Rothschilds are. Nobody never know. There's no way you can track their money. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's all resources. How the hell are you gonna tell somebody that own all the lithium, own all the petroleum in fucking Argentina or Lithuania, like how much you're worth? You know, like well go, let's go and I own 25% of Britain. I own 50% of America. Stock wise, I don't know which how you want me to say. When I go to America, everybody got to open the doors for me because I own half this motherfucker. You know, let my son in this school. Hell no, I ain't paying no damn tuition, and he better graduate. You know, this is the type of rich that these people don't have no numbers. They don't walk into a famous restaurant and they say, well, that'll serve after you eat, sir, that'll be. Yeah, you talking about yo expensive? You'll never get one of them Wagyu cows again. Talk to me like that. I got owe some damn money. This is the type of rich class that people don't understand that exists, man. The people that own the fucking resources. Okay?
This is This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above.
Yep, and it says his dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. He's in the most luxurious spots. That's what he did with Gad when he came over here. Reuben and Gad, he came over, it's like, oh, y'all go over there. And then seeing that their land was fat with gold or some type of agriculture or resource, and then they did something to get them out, killed the buffalo, made the decree, you know, there's some more wicked shit, man. Okay?
That was the other day they had a black officer went out to eat with some of his colleagues and shit. And Chick-fil-A, they talking about they sending out a great apology and all of that, but they made him pay for his food, but just let them eat on some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, what you know?
As a police officer.
Yeah.
Yep. And they got the resources. All they can do is send out an apology. They'll do it again. They probably got to give niggas a break. You know? But the other fatness of the earth that Esau has is the resources. And the main fatness is the oil, man. All right? Esau done took all the oil out the land. Okay? That's why Argentina, they doing all that with Argentina right now. Because of the oil deposits. Okay? That's why they trying to straighten out Russia. Because of the oil. Okay? The fatness of the earth, which is this oil, is what really got Esau all this power, because everybody has to then trade in American dollars in order to access that resource. Okay? So you gotta pump your riches through their riches, you know, to get a little. You know, it's like a river making it to the ocean. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere it's been, you know, that land gets a little agriculture because of that water, man. And that's how the American dollar works. It just runs along the river of the nations. And the nations got to touch that American soil. So every time they touch the soil, it takes a little bit. You know? And that's how the American dollar works. It's too networked into everything. But they're ultimately trying to crash their dollar to get to the new American dollar, get to the new dollar system, which is going to be a universal monetary system. All right? Because the Federal Reserve is really isolated to America. It's an American dollar, but it's used universally. Okay? But it's not a universal dollar, because in you got the yuan, you got the ruble, ruby, whatever you want to call it. Again,
Pesos.
It's still various dollars, but Esau's trying to get to a universal dollar. I was watching a video on the World Economic Forum, and Ham talking about they need. Yeah, we need AI, we need this, we need that to make more money.
Why y'all niggas need AI?
You know? That's what I'm saying. What the hell y'all need AI for?
Yo, Africa.
You know? But it's to automate machines, but everybody's trying to plug in. Because that's how the rich elite want to make their money. The same system that we're in now, where the rich elite got something and then you got some niggas could get something. It's just going to be the same system, but more blatant and more fixated. Okay? The manager's going to be the manager. His son going to be the next manager. You ain't going to never be a man. You're going to always be a worker. And then they're always going to be the managers. Then it's going to be always going to be these guys. That's what Esau wanted to be. Okay? He don't care about all this. You get an education. Let's see. Nah, I'm going to have a fixated people that's going to be criminals, man. Okay? The fixated people that I get to treat like shit for the rest of their life. Like the movie Snowpiercer, man. You know?
As long as like, bro.
Go ahead.
I'll say, long as you point the finger at somebody else, ain't nobody pointing fingers at you.
Yeah, that's how the capitalism works. They still do the finger pointing. Then the people that got stolen from them, you just gave them somebody to get mad at. But that's not gonna stop them from getting stolen from. That's why these rednecks and these blue collar Edomites are so gun ho about believing anything that's wrong with a nigga because Esau's making his life a living hell. Yeah. They ain't saying, well, he does it on purpose. He's blaming on Democrats and he's blaming on niggas and blaming on Hispanics. Like a comedian said, like a couple years ago, it was the Arabs that was the worst niggas on planet Earth, right? 9/11 and all that, and then ICE ain't touching none of them. It's ironic. Like, out of all people, y'all not touching none of them. You know? Like, these people came over and did some things. Right? Hypothetically, we know that was a farce as well, but the whole point is that out of all the immigrants out here, you should be rounding up first. It should be them. You know? But we know what it is, man. They getting up the real threat. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Going back to Psalms, they conspired with a confederacy, which means to breed together. All these nations are against the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which is why vocab will hop up in arms and try to shut us down, but he don't got time for these so-called JEWO small hats out here bombing churches in Gaza. You know? But he need to get against, he need to come against us. All right? All these nations on planet Earth got missiles, rifles, guns, and an army, but Esau got to imprison Jacob and make sure we're put below. Because we're a peculiar people, man. And it will manifest eventually, man. You know, from the 2/3 to the elect. We will rise up and be in our proper steads, man. You know? So with that being said, give all praises
unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash.
I say that the honest apostles who are others who do well, blessed citation, brothers out there teaching and doing sincerity. So,
Shalom.